This video is sponsored by Stepcraft. Think it, make it. So I have a lot of random car parts laying around. Many have been in my possession for over a decade, acquired with grand ambitions that regrettably never saw the light of day and have since languished in obscurity, gathering dust. Now, I'm no mechanic. Each piece was originally intended for a bold artistic endeavor that, like so many other creative projects, was eventually placed in the backseat by life's other demands. However, I believe the time has come to breathe new life into one of these forgotten relics and create a fun gift that will last a new lifetime with new purpose. For this project, I'm going to start with an aluminum hubcap off of a 70s era Mustang. I think it'll make a perfect home for a clock. I don't want to just put a movement into the hubcap and call it a day though. Instead, I'm going to design a frame for the hubcap to sit in. To do this, I'm going to start with a 36 tooth gear I made on a gear generator I found online. This coincides perfectly with a 12 mark clock. For the numbers, I don't want all 12, but instead just the 4 main ones, and then supplement the missing digits with clear markers. From here, I just want to add a little more visual appeal to set it apart from your average hubcap clock. And here it is mocked up in Vetric V Carve, ready to be sent to the CNC machine. In terms of materials, I got lucky and found a pre-cut stool top at my local home goods store that, although it's pine, I think it'll work great. Softwoods tend to have a rougher cut regardless of tool, but I do have a brand new router bit that's up for the challenge. It's a 60-degree single flute bit I highly recommend for engraving. I'll have a link in the description for this, but it is going to be connected to the Stepcraft D840. I really love this machine. They sent me this to try out and I immediately was hooked after using it for the first time. Very easy to learn, didn't require any setup time. Once it was out of the box and I had the software installed on my PC, it was ready to go. It combines incredible accuracy and intuitive controls, perfect for beginners and pros alike. There's a link below to learn more on Stepcraft's line of amazing products, but getting back to the cut, you'll notice the center portion that would have been an offcut I decided to carve my channel logo into. It's a great way of using your scrap to your advantage and not letting anything go to waste. So here's where my lack of experience shows. I had the machine running a little too fast and I ended up snapping my straight cutting bit. This was a little inconvenient because it left an entire layer uncut. Luckily though, this is something that can easily be fixed with a flush trim router bit, which I'll show in a little bit. Looking at this carving though, it's really cool to see a design come to life like this. Even if it's something small, I still can't get over seeing something that was once just a simple design get turned into a wood carving. Pretty cool stuff. That last remaining layer is thankfully thin enough that I can just punch out the remaining parts. No idea what I'm going to do with this little logo, but at least it won't have to sit in the scrap bin. And as always, here's Peppers to investigate what I'm up to. She's awesome. She always loves investigating. Here's a close-up of the remaining offcut bits. They pop off really easily, and as much as I would have liked to have filmed all of them, because of how satisfying it was, I wasn't watching the camera and ended up going off frame. Anyways, here's the flush trim bit going to work. Really came in handy to clean the rest of these cuts up. So while cleaning it, I ended up dropping it and the wood cracked, but no worries, a little bit of wood glue and clamping will fix this no problem. If this happens to you, make sure you clean up the excess glue with a wet rag. Otherwise, you'll see spots in the wood that can't be stained and it'll look kind of weird. Next up is my favorite part, which is sanding. I started with 120 grit and then finished with 240. After that, I cut away a space for the screw head to sit when it's hanging on the wall. This won't be seen, so the fact that I messed it up a little won't affect it too much visually, hopefully. Now I can stain this, and I decided to go with a darker shade to show off the shine of the hubcap. If I can offer some good advice though, it's that you shouldn't do what I'm doing and wear a nice new white sweatshirt while staining. Not a great idea. I got lucky though and didn't get any on me. However, the luck ran out though when I went to film the initial polishing because those files are nowhere to be found. Essentially, I hit it with one coat of spray-on polyurethane and then 800 grit sandpaper. This allows me to add the paint in the carvings and wipe away the excess without it affecting the wood. The white paint, however, was a different story. I started by spilling it all over the table and then discovered it didn't like my plans of being wiped away and decided to reverse stain the wood a little bit. It is acrylic paint though, so just scrubbing it with a little bit of water helped just fine. Now it's time to tackle this hubcap. Being manufactured in 1969 and put into service the year after, it's got a little age to it. Not much, but nothing we can't reverse with a little aluminum de-aging cream. It was a bit stubborn and didn't make for good footage, so instead of showing you that, I thought I'd give you a little history of the car it came off of. Like I mentioned earlier, it's from a Mustang that was manufactured in 1969 and then sold in 1970. So close to my dream car, which is the 1969 Boss 429, which is just an absolute masterpiece. Checking out the owner's manual, though, there are some weird stuff in here. Check this out. So somehow I doubt this dude is an accountant, but I'm also bad with numbers, so let's get the page turned in here. Yeah, no idea what this is, but at least she's got a cool car, so there's that at least. Anyways, getting back into it, the polish did the trick after a good bit of elbow grease, so now let's add in the clock movement. I'll have a link below for the one I went with. It came with a few different hand options, which was nice, but I ended up going with the basic modern one. To mount it, it only requires one hole, so let's get that drilled out. It always helps to start with a smaller bit and gradually move up to the final size needed. I also put a block underneath so it wouldn't damage the table. There's a few ways to fasten the movement to the hub, but I'm just going to go with hot glue. After that cools, I can fasten the retaining nut and attach the hands, and once that's done, I can finally unite the two halves. Once again, I forgot to film the final polishing of the gear. Essentially hit it with 2 coats of spray-on polyurethane, 800 grit sandpaper, and then 1 final coat of spray-on polyurethane. Setting the hubcap in place was super satisfying. I got the measurement just about right. It was a little tight, but it was really cool seeing it all come together like this. I'm absolutely thrilled with the results. This was fun, easy, inexpensive DIY project I recommend anyone getting into the hobby of CNC or just woodworking in general. Makes for an awesome gift as well, so thank you guys for watching. Thank you Stepcraft for the incredible CNC machine. Make sure you guys hit the like and subscribe. It really goes a long way with helping the algorithm pick up these videos. But regardless, thank you again so much for watching, and I will see you next week for another exciting project.